Welcome back. I'm Cheryl Casoni in for Maria Bartiromo, who is on assignment. Maria sat down with seven-time Super Bowl champion, Fox Sports analyst, and eMed Chief Wellness Officer Tom Brady yesterday, alongside eMed CEO Linda Yaccarino. Now, they sat down to discuss the health platform's AI-powered goals and $2 billion valuation. We want to disclose this was taped before yesterday's social media trial verdict. Remember, Yaccarino is the former CEO of X, and she did decline to comment on the verdict. But here is that interview.
Miami-based digital health company eMed specializes in AI-enabled GLP-1 solutions. The company raising $200 million in the latest funding round, and it will be used to further advance eMed's AI platform while assisting employers with the healthcare cost curve. The company aiming to tackle the demanding request for GLP-1s to be covered by companies. Joining me right now is eMed's Chief Wellness Officer, Fox Sports analyst, and seven-time Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady. Also with us is eMed's CEO Linda Yaccarino. Linda and Tom, so great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, Maria.
And I want to kick things off with you, Linda, because this is a big announcement and the launching of this company. We were all wondering where you would go next and what you would do after Twitter. Tell us about eMed and what you're doing specifically with these GLP-1 drugs.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's so exciting. It's exciting to be able to be with you exclusively today, Maria and Tom, to announce our Series A raise of $200 million and a company valuation north of $2 billion. So you asked me what I was going to do next, and you were wondering. I'm actually answering a calling, right? A calling for the #1 most requested benefit and delivering a program that is really going to change for the good, the population health. It confirms, the raise confirms eMed's momentum and establishes us as the definitive company for population health and helping employers break the runaway healthcare costs and break their cost curve. So really excited to be here today.
Yeah, and that's what I want to ask you. How are you going to break this cost curve? But I got to get to the GOAT first. Tom, you are moving and continuing this transition from going from the GOAT quarterback that we all love to a power player in media, an owner, and now this. Tell us about your role at this company.
Yeah, you know, I love being around great people, and I love being around great teams of people. Again, winning in sports and winning in business are very similar in terms of values and working with the right people. And I got a chance to get to meet Linda a while ago and understood her values and beliefs along with Michael Farrell, one of the other founders of eMed. And, you know, we talked about how we can really make a difference in the world and help people just be a little bit better every day. I try to do that as an athlete, and there's different ways to do that physically, mentally, and emotionally. And in terms of what eMed's mission is and what it's trying to deliver for global health, we are on a fast track to in a great trajectory to really make a huge impact in the health for a lot of people, maybe in ways that we haven't seen in a very long time. It's very powerful, but it has to be done responsibly. And that's really where eMed fits in with the right doctors, the right support, the right team of people. We can get people on the right track for them to live their healthiest life.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about your healthiest life, because I know how healthy you are, Tom. I've read the book about all the water that you're always drinking, so I'm going to get back to that.
Always.
But Linda,
look right here.
Yeah, exactly. I've got it.
Never changes.
I knew it would be. Linda, let me get your take on this company and how specifically you intend to move this cost curve. Of course, people are worried about the price of GLP-1. That's why President Trump has done so much to try to lower the cost of health care. What can you do about it?
Well, we're super excited. First of all, Tom is being a little modest as usual, but he is sitting right alongside me, grinding along, getting to all of these employers and CEOs and proving to them the opportunity by partnering with eMed that we can actually break the cost curve because of the rigor and discipline of the eMed program. We deliver outcomes for people that deliver 90% adherence. What does that mean? That means that 90% of people stay on our program. They do two things. First and most important, what Tom was referencing, they get healthier. They literally stop chronic disease in their tracks. Our program is clinician-led, only FDA-approved medications. That's why it's so attractive to employers. And when you get people on the program, when you deliver those health outcomes, that's the secret sauce for employers, for CEOs, CFOs, who you have on your show all the time, because they get the return on their investment. By partnering with eMed, they experience the reduction in the runaway healthcare costs, because now they have a population. Because when you have overweight or obese people, their healthcare costs are 2 times the average employee who's not obese. So that is the question that hasn't been answered yet, that finally eMed steps in, is able to deliver those solutions to employers all over the country.
So tell us specifically how you do that. How do you step in and partner with these companies to get the prices down?
Well, the first thing you have to do is obviously explain to them, and they all know the profound nature of these medications, right? Again, the health intervention of many lifetimes. And we teach them about the rigorous program. I remember going through it with the first time Tom and I started talking. So we have at-home testing on your employee's own time, no appointments necessary, no loss of work, right? No having to call in sick or go to a lab. So we work with our clinicians, right? When you qualify to be on the program, you are clinically prescribed the medications, which are all FDA approved. Right. And we surround you, once you qualify to be on the program, with weekly check-ins and ongoing support. So we're actually wrapping a healthy, kind of security blanket around you, and we form this accountability that's what's delivering the 90% adherence.
I see.
So we teach employers the benefits of it and those results that are demonstrated time and time again. So you're getting healthier employees that show up, right? And they're available for work, but then employers are also experiencing lower healthcare claims.
And I know you launched this company during the pandemic. You partnered with Fortune 500 companies and government to help provide the clinically guided AI-enabled GLP-1 solutions. And you've got relationships with the 2 biggest FDA-approved weight loss drug companies, the manufacturers Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. So that's great. And I want to hear more about the AI end of this. But Tom, I'm assuming you're not on a GLP-1 drug, Tom. You're among the most healthiest guys out there. And I mentioned earlier that I read your book and you're drinking water nonstop. How much water do you drink a day? And to what do you attribute your incredible health right now, Tom? What are you doing? Give us some secrets.
Well, I've had a very personal health journey for a long time, and I've tried to make a lot of the right decisions. I realized, because I was an athlete, my body was my asset. And if I loved playing football and I loved being on the field and I loved performing at my very best, I had to treat my body, a very certain way. I tried to get a lot of muscle work to repair injured tissue. I hydrated all the time. I tried to eat a low inflammatory diet. I tried to get the proper rest. So all these things that are probably a little more mainstream now, and we hear about them, 20 plus years ago when I was really doing these things, they weren't widely adopted. But I think people are understanding the values and benefits of all these. And I think the reality for all of us is, this type of platform that we've created at eMed, this isn't about shortcuts for anybody. This is about a well-delivered program for people to kickstart their health journey in certain ways. I've been so fortunate to be around the best professionals, the best doctors, the best trainers, the best nutritionists. And I realized how fortunate I was in having that guidance. And eMed wants to provide that guidance for a global health population as well, and we're doing that. And like I said, the retention of our clients, 90% stay on the program, and that's because the program works for people. And everyone is going to have their different health journey. Some is about, and I really want to kind of break the stigma around the fact that discipline and hard work and willpower are something that is just a lot of those things I think we're born with. I was born with that, and I have the ability to do that. I think there's a lot of other people that is something that is more of a struggle, but we need to be able to provide support for those people as well, and we're doing that at eMed.
Yeah, and it's also about moving, right? And when you're talking about health, it's about moving. I mean, when you were on the football field, I guess it was easier, but are you still working out the way you worked out when you were playing?
Maria, how can I ever stop? This is my life. I tell you, I've been so obsessed with training. I would feel horrible and then worse if I didn't move all the time. I feel like I have a lot of energy. I got to stay moving. I want to stay active. I have 3 children. I want to go out there and play basketball and swim and hit the golf ball and play volleyball with my daughter in the backyard. I want to live a very healthy, active life. And I do that with a number of different ways. And I try to, again, always stay ahead of my injuries. I always felt like, why wait to get injured before I fix myself, or why wait to get sick before I start taking care of my body and my health, my immune system? I'm very proactive with how I treat my body. So I still live a very active lifestyle, but I also am willing to, pay the price in advance and sacrifice a little bit of time in my life to get the right treatments for me to feel good on a daily basis.
Yeah, I understand that. And Linda, these GLP-1 drugs, that's what they're doing for people. You're able to get ahead of disease and sickness because we've seen the stats. I mean, it's impacting people's ability to avoid heart disease. I mean, other sicknesses that are killers ultimately. This market is surging. We spoke with the CEO of Pfizer recently. He was talking about a potential of $150 billion potential market here. So tell us what you're expecting in terms of future growth for eMed, Linda.
Well, I actually think that is really a mirror and a reflection of the enthusiasm of this raise that we're here today to talk about. When you think about the impact that AI is having on every business and transforming every business, it's actually really making a difference and changing forever healthcare overall. And then you have the power of these medications. And you're right, Maria. What Tom is talking about is prevention, is longevity. And what started out as a diabetes medication and then moved to weight loss and then is now a long list of chronic disease prevention. And imagine this, we're starting now to talk about these GLP-1s being a great tool to help people fight the demons of addiction for the first time. So I think it's probably impossible to articulate or calculate the market size or impact that these GLP-1s are having. So it's really an incredible moment because eMed sits at the epicenter of all of the dynamic market that's shifting every single day. And that's why we're super excited to talk about the raise, the people we're working with together with our lead investor, Aon. We are poised for scale, and this conversations that Tom and I have all day, every day with CEOs is all about momentum.
Do you eventually want to take this company public, Linda?
I think maybe we talk about that the next time you have Tom and I back.
Okay,
yes.
We can do that. There's nobody better to be your spokesperson as the health and guru that Tom Brady is. Tom, you're juggling so much. Let me end off with your incredible expanding career from Fox NFL analyst to, as I mentioned, GOAT quarterback and Raiders minority owner. Do you ultimately want to be a majority owner?
Well, it's a great question. I got to work pretty hard. I paid ordinary income taxes for a very long time in the NFL, and these valuations have gotten very expensive, but I love playing the role that I have. I certainly love my role at Fox, and broadcasting has been, I could never have imagined the joy that I would find in being able to be on camera with my great partner, Kevin Burkhardt, our entire team, and communicating to all our fans that, how incredible the game of football is and how sports bring together communities. I see it every week when I go to these amazing stadiums, and it feels really nice walking into stadiums and not getting booed by everybody anymore.
Yeah.
I only, there's more cheers than I realized. I go, God, man, maybe, they respected me a little more than I thought. So having this role in broadcasting, being involved in football with the Raiders has been absolutely a dream come true. And then also making a difference in other people's lives, trying to share some of the things that have been in my mind that I've learned from incredible mentors, understanding that, and trying to inspire through the different people that have come into my life to communicate the messages that I've been able to get that have helped me kind of live my dream. And I want to do that for others. So I'm very blessed. I'm very excited about the future. I love working with Linda. I love working with eMed, and I love making a difference in people's lives as we continue to do with this great business.
Well, congratulations to you. We are grateful to call you one of our members of the Fox family. So
Yes.
Thank you for that. And Linda, congrats to you. We'll be watching eMed. We know how important healthcare and the growth of healthcare is, particularly when it's married with technology. So we'll be watching the story. Thanks so much to you both for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us, Maria. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Maria.
All right, great interview, everybody. We are going to be right back. You are watching Mornings with Maria. Stay with us.